Welcome to the Mentor Project podcast, a place where you will learn, discover new ideas, be entertained, inspired, and even mentored. Our shows explore a wide range of subjects, including science, technology, business, society and culture, art and entertainment, and life. If you would like to learn more about the Mentor Project, please go to www.mentorproject.org. We hope you'll enjoy the show.
Look at that. 4 people. Poker. Great. Well, coming to you live from Los Angeles and New York City, it's the Mentor Project. Yay! All right. We're back again. It's another week, another weekend update, and a few people here that you've already seen. Bruce Wiley, one of the mentors that joined us. It joined me on my podcast. At this point, we go for a monthly meeting exactly in that bar that is sitting right now. Never anybody there.
It's still empty. No one wants to join me.
Empty. We don't know why. And we got Susan. Well, nice to see you again. You were on last week. We were talking about intentions for the new year. So thank you for being back, of course. And Deborah, we can't have this without you. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be on with everybody. This is an exciting time for all of us with the Mentor Project. I have a few announcements to make. We have a new website that's being launched. So go check it out, mentorproject.org. You'll get to see all the changes that we're making. It's still in progress, so some of the pictures are going to change and not all the mentors are on there, but I do hope that you will check out the new site because it's really pretty great. We have a lot of new things that are going to be coming on. We're going to be signing on with Givergy, so we're going to have some online auctions. So maybe you'll get to have like a one-on-one Zoom with Bruce, who knows, or a quick session with Susan Birne-Stone, or talk about podcasting with Marco. But we're going to be having a lot of opportunities for people to interact with us in a lot of different ways. We're also going to be launching our new events through that. So mentors, get ready. Dr. Susan Birne-Stone is going to be talking with us most likely about all of the mental health things that we can be looking out for as mentors. And Bruce, I do hope that you'll be giving some science updates for everyone. So we have all of our mentors who will be able to interact in new and different ways in 2024. So this is just one new exciting thing that I wanted to be able to tell everybody about. So get ready, look out. You'll be able to find the programs that we're offering there. You can get a mentor through that. Just click the button. If you're interested in becoming a mentor, you can click that button. So go digging through the new website this year. And
there is a button for everything. Whatever you want, look for the button.
So the new website, Debbie's going to include like all the bios of all the, because there are like movie producers, there are like tech entrepreneurs, there are mental health specialists, there's of course aging specialists like yourself, podcasters, stuff like that. So it seems like just a lot of stuff that you can find on the website, right? Because you can probably find everyone's bios and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll be able to find out what our mentors are doing with the Mentor Project. And my hope is that our mentors, like yourself, Bruce, and Susan and Marco, will be sharing what you're doing outside of the Mentor Project so people can find your Substacks, so they can find your podcasts, so they can find your brick television shows that you host, Susan, so that all of our mentors, you can find them outside the Mentor Project as well as what they're doing within the Mentor Project. Go look at their bios. Those will be updated as soon as the mentors get us their information, but it's got a ton of great information in there about each mentor.
And you said something that I've been saying for many, many years, that the website is a work in progress. It's never finished. Just like your social media or whatever you do. I think we're never finished learning either. So if you give up, you're done. If you think you know everything, you better retire at that point.
It's
Susan,
also new mentors being added, right?
Oh yeah.
Like every month there's new faces, people from new sectors and industries. So that's always going to be changing and adding and growing, right?
I don't even know all the mentors, to be honest. I'm like, oh, I didn't know there was that person in here. That's pretty cool.
We literally have people from science, and when I say science, astronaut, technology. We have the father of the network firewall, engineering. We have top engineers, arts. We have Justin Thompson, who's a well-known cartoonist. Math. We have top professors in math, and then business, law, finance. We have media like yourself, Marco. You're not just podcasting, you're all other forms of media. And so we really do cover the entire range of individuals who are our mentors. So do check it out, because some of our mentors will take a pause for a short amount of time if they're going off to do something pretty amazing somewhere, and they'll come back and somebody will get added. It's really a very fluid page.
So, Marco, it sounds like we need to recruit some of the mentors, especially those that took a break and are back, to have them on the podcast to really hear about what they're doing and what they want to be mentoring in. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll do some reach out to some of them individually and invite them personally to come join us.
Yeah,
and if this time doesn't work because maybe they're at a on a time zone that doesn't work for this time, we'll do it at another time and then maybe run it during this time.
Yeah. Also, because this is the intention of this is to be very candid and spontaneous. As a matter of fact, we just ask people on the meeting if they want to hang out with us for 5-10 minutes, or the whole 15 minutes, like in this case. But yes, Susan, we want to get to know the new mentor and the old mentor. I mean, if you don't know them, they're all new. So right. And we want to have a more in-depth conversation, more like an half an hour format where we can really get to know them. And I got lucky that I got to interview some of them in my show. But when we talk about the Mentor Project podcast, it's all about mentoring. So we kind of switch gears a little bit. Bruce, anything news on your side of the bar there?
Oh, you mean the bar that's empty? I'm still waiting for the party.
Neck of the wood.
Well, we have some things that are coming up. We basically on January 30th, we have a National Academies of Science, Engineering, Medicine workshop on agricultural and farming technology and how that can help people have better diets or improve their nutrition in their diets. So we're covering a wide range of different things, like how different scientists will be coming on talking about how they're changing plants and fish and vegetables so that they increase the crop yields. They can make things more nutritious. They can potentially reduce the risk of allergens and allergies and those things like that. So that's something that we're working on right now. So that's on January 30th. Very
cool. I had interesting conversation because CES, the Technology Consumer Show in Las Vegas, today is the last day. So this was the week, and we had conversation with people from the Fresh Product Association and from people that do food and 3D printing of food and robotic chefs. And it's amazing. And actually, a lot of people don't think about this, but in the farming, which people think is still old school and a lot of labor, there is actually a lot of labor taken by AI and image recognition and treating the soil and everything, and actually minimize waste, which is something really important. So really cool.
And another thing, in February, I'm going to be doing a Q&A discussion with Francis Collins, who is the former NIH director, and we'll be talking about science communications. So as soon as we get an exact date and time for that, we can disseminate. But that should be fascinating because, Francis has long been a very important advocate of proper science communications. So it'd be great to hear some of his insights.
Yep. Science communication is really important. You need to know who you're talking to. Susan, I'm going to ask you this question. I mean, you've been doing media for a long time, many shows, and how do you switch gears when you when you're talking with someone or someone else? Like when your target is not the same all the time, but you're talking with the same guest about that topic, how do you elevate it for more informed audience, or how do you downside it a little bit to make it more understandable? I always find this is quite a challenge because people that know a lot, they just know a lot. But as a host, how do you handle that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, what's interesting is, in the industry, there's always this talk about think about who your audience is and then really target the level of communication. But what I found is that, and this has been talked about, is that if you just make it in simple terms, what's that expression? I think, Bruce, you've talked about this, that if you can't say it in a sentence to a kindergarten or something, then you really don't understand what your topic is. So I think simple is better. Like if you're trying to sound like you want to speak to, doctoral level or Nobel scientists, don't do that. Because really the best way to communicate is the simplest. And so that's what I always think about. When I'm interviewing someone, I'm always trying to imagine the audience member or the listener that does not know anything. Because I think that, for me, even when in areas that have a lot of experience in, going back to those intro simplistic topics, when I listen again, but with many years experience, I'm thinking about that very basic information in a different way. So I don't think that one can ever go wrong with just staying simple and just always imagining that you're talking, that you're asking questions without really having any knowledge, because I think we get caught up. I've seen this happen. Where you think that you know something, so you kind of skip over, but you're making kind of wrong assumptions. And so I think it's great to think about it in a way that you don't know what you're talking about and to ask from that perspective. What do you guys think? Because I know, Debbie, you've been on both sides, the expert and the interviewer, as well as Bruce. You've been many times the expert as well as the interviewer.
I think that, listening in to someone who's interviewing, I hate it when somebody pretends that everyone's at the same level. If I'm learning something new and I don't know the words, then I just feel stupid. So I love that you dive in and you ask the questions so that I don't have to feel that way. And I appreciate that because, when you're dealing with so many different people from different backgrounds and you always do your homework, you come in and you find out about them, what they're doing. And when you explain that, I get to just listen and understand and learn, as opposed to have all kinds of emotional reactions thinking I should I know that? I don't know that. Then I start to think all sorts of things about myself, and you keep it put on the target. Great. Absolutely always perfect every time.
Yeah, the saying in policy circles, if you work with Congress in any way, is that you need to present things at a 6th grade reading level. Now, some people might argue whether it's that level or lower, depending on who you interact with. But yeah, that's the maximum, they say. So, and yeah, if you're using jargon and those things like that, I can think of one example where someone used the term, this was years ago, factor analysis. And I raised my hand. I said, I don't know what factor analysis means. And that person says, it means analyze a bunch of factors. And I'm like, okay, can you please define it without using the word factor or analysis in it? And he couldn't. So many times it's not only helpful to the audience, like sometimes people, when they're spitting out jargon, may not fully understand what they're actually saying too. So if you ask them, can you explain it in sort of very plain language, and they can't, then you have to wonder, do they really understand the subject as well? So
that's really cool. And a little trick that had been told to me by a very smart person, a founder of a really big cybersecurity company, and he's very passionate about it, generative AI, is like, you go to the generative AI and you throw a very complex topic and you say, explain it to me like if I was 5 years old. and you see because generative AI is really good at doing that. And then you bring it to the next level and say, okay, now explain it to me if I was 12 years old, the same topic. And then you go to the academic level, and it's a great process because you really see on, how many more into detail and complexity you can go. So you can also reverse it and maybe see if you can simplify your topic quite a bit. Quite interesting.
I think this highlights one of the great things that's been done with the Mentor Project. Like, I'll give a ton of credit to Debbie. You bring together, you've brought together all these experts in many different fields. You could easily have a situation where everyone's speaking their own language and not talking with each other. But whenever the mentors get together, everyone's using plain language and trying to explain things to each other. So there's a lot of cross-fertilization where you forget that you're talking about like one of the world's experts on the moon. He's not literally standing on the moon, but he's about the moon. He knows everything about the moon, but he makes it very simple for us to understand. And the same applies to everyone else. And I think that's a great culture that you've created, Debbie, and something which I think can serve as a model for many other places, because you're having real intellectual exchange and you're really having information and better understanding exchange among everyone there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bruce. I love to hear that you say that, because we're all just lateral mentors in the world, right? Everywhere we go. And, as soon as we can speak in plain language, we'll communicate with everybody a lot better. So thanks for that, Bruce.
Well, you've given talks about that. Like I think not too long ago, you gave a talk at Harvard, Mass General, about lateral mentorship. So that's something that you've been trying to advance in our society, right, Debbie?
It is something that that we're looking to advance, and looking to the people who do that automatically, and to highlight how they do that and how that can make explosive impact. So both you have, Marco has, Susan has, who are all on here, but every one of the people in the Mentor Project has done it in unique and interesting ways. So it really is just highlighting what you guys are doing. That's all I do, is just highlight all of your accomplishments and how you guys make the world a better place.
Yeah, and the big lesson there is that we assume that if somebody has a PhD in something, has a PhD in everything. So it's like, oh, you have a PhD, you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to log into a new, recording platform. And they're like, no, I'm not really good with computer. My PhD is in something completely different. And so you can't judge somebody's skills or capabilities by, one thing that applies to everything. And one thing I love, I think it's attributed to Einstein, but it was, you can judge a bird from his ability to swim or something like that. Right?
You're right. And you know what? The one thing I will say that you learn from, what Bruce was talking about, that everybody gets on the Zooms that we have, or starts to speak from a variety of different disciplines, is it's not our disciplines and it's not everyone's intellect that draws people together. It's that we all have the same inner thoughts and feelings. And you would be so surprised at who has imposter syndrome and who feels anxiety about things, or who, has the same likes or dislikes as you. It all comes down to an emotional basis. And, that's what Susan is good at capturing, is that sort of component with it all. And by moving that forward and continuing to capture that, we really do see that mentorship has that at its core. There's a real meaningful connection, emotional core to it.
Yep. A lot to think about here. No doubts that I knew we were going to find a good topic to discuss, even if we didn't plan anything. Susan, I leave you for the goodbyes to everybody, and to stay tuned, because I just love the way you host. And, I need to bring you back.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back. This has been great. And this is just a great platform to get the updates from Debbie on what's happening in the Mentor Project. And there's always great and interesting things. So please come back, and you never know who's going to be here. Bruce is here today. And in the future, we'll continue to have these quick 15-minute updates, but we're also going to look forward to having the more in-depth and learn a little bit more about the mentors, and we'll keep you posted on that as well. So here's to mentoring, lateral mentoring, as Debbie would say. Maybe everybody can, even in their own worlds, pay attention to how they are doing a little bit more lateral mentoring. Because as Debbie always says, everyone's doing mentoring. They just don't even realize it. So maybe one of the takeaway, you know how I love to give a takeaway to the audience, right? So maybe I invite you, I'm sorry, I can't resist, but I invite everybody to think about, am I mentoring right now or am I being mentored? And like, let us know. I think we all would love to hear like how mentoring is in your life. There you go. You hear it as
she's so good. She's so good. I can't take it. All right, let's end up here. Drop the mic, Susan. Drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
Bye, everybody. Stay tuned. See you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. This show was brought to you by the Mentor Project. If you enjoyed this segment, there are many ways to thank us. Please consider subscribing to our podcast, making a tax-deductible donation, or becoming directly involved. Subscribe to this podcast and visit us at www.mentorproject.org to learn more.